This call is now being recorded.
We are live. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our 53rd IDC Alumni Talk. Thank you, Meghna, for taking the time out for the talk.
My pleasure.
It is my pleasure as well to introduce you to everyone here. You are the founder of IndicBricks, which is into making Indian-themed Lego sets. This is your second entrepreneurial venture. Earlier, you were part of the marketing team at Cypress Semiconductor. You have also done your MBA from INSEAD in France. After INSEAD, you worked in an agri-tech company in Switzerland and the US. With that very brief intro, over to you, Meghna.
Thank you so much, Nimish. It's my pleasure to be here today, and I was fortunate to attend the talk last week as well. It was really. I mean, I loved I loved the idea, of course, of the talk, but also the content last week. So I hope the audience will find my talk interesting as well. So here I go. So this is about IndicBricks, which is the brand of a company called IndicBricks. And we started in 2021, last year, with the idea to make Indian heritage fun and engaging. It started from the fact that I saw that we don't have too many Indian toys. If you look into the toy box of a child today, there are hardly any Indian toys. And that's the problem we wanted to solve. And we thought we'll do it with Indian themed building block toys. So this is just an overview, but I'll kind of take you behind the scenes of where this idea, why this problem, kind of worried me, and why we came about doing this. So this is what we currently do. We make Indian theme building block sets, just like Lego. It's not Lego, it's our own brand called IndicBricks. So I'm also the founder of MakersLoft, a company that I started about 7 years ago. And in that, we work with children from 2 to about 14 years. We work with children in schools, in activity centers. We have our own activity centers as well. So, and we work with children pan-India and internationally as well. And we worked on building blocks a lot. In fact, we train even children for robotic competitions using building blocks. And in fact, MakersLoft is the name of the company, is today one of the leading institutes for building block programs for children. What that did, having very intimately worked with children, for the last 7 years, I kind of saw that children are really interested in, all the Western characters and toys, all of them. And, the Superman, the Batman, etc. But, I always thought that we have our own Justice League. We have our Brahma. This is where, in fact, we are the original land of storytelling, right? This is where a lot of the Hollywood stuff and the DC Marvel stuff is even inspired from. But our characters, representation of Indian skin tones, color, etc., is all absent from the toy box of a child. Not just, I'm not even talking of urban kids. Even if you go to a rural store, I was in the small temple town near Kashi, and even there the toys are largely, you have those white dolls with golden hair and blue eyes, so you hardly have Indian representation. So that's something that really worried me. And here's a small kind of also market research report that I would like to share with you. So if you see, this is boys and girls over here across different ages. So it's seen that in the initial years, when the parents or grandparents are still involved with the children, kids don't know any different, right? They are quite attracted to Indian characters, and you can see Indian characters like Chota Bheem, Krishna, Motu Patlu, etc. Hanuman are quite popular with them. This is across boys and girls. There's no gender difference that much. But as a child goes out of the house, starts interacting with other children, then forget about it, then of course Pokemon, Doraemon, all the other characters just take over. And this is something that I saw, experienced as well, because we work with children as young as 2 years too. So we thought, how can we change that? How can we, that was the idea behind IndicBricks. That's how it started, and it's somehow connected to my personal journey as well, I mean, once I lived abroad, I learned to respect and appreciate our culture a lot more. And it's my own journey also to know and understand more about us. So while it is for children, I think it's also kind of targeted for adults as well, because a lot of adults, I think, especially in this day and age, are trying to connect with our culture and learn a lot more. For instance, like last Diwali, I wanted to celebrate Diwali just like my parents did, and I bought all the the what you call the pujan samagri, etc. And I started, but I didn't really know what to do with it. I mean, at best I could imitate what my dad and mom did, but I didn't even understand what was to be done and why, etc. And that really bothers me, and I've always been as a child very curious about things, and I'm sure I asked those questions, but I never got good answers, and that kind of took me away from, I wouldn't just say religion, but also culture and heritage in a way. And this time around, this IndicBricks is kind of my journey also to understand our culture and heritage, and share it with people in a fun way. So building blocks is something that I knew because I've been working with it for the last 7 years, and I thought that could be a starting point. It's just not a toy. It's almost like a language of the hands, and it's a language of the hands that I know millions of people across the world understand, not just children but adults as well. And because we work pan-India and internationally as well, I know how many people, how much they love it and what it means to them, etc. So this was the kind of the starting point for us for IndicBricks. So this was, in fact, what you see in front is our first product, the Ganesha, which we launched last October, just around Diwali. We've also since built the Nagara temple, kind of based off the Ram temple a little bit. Yogas set. Yogasana set, 5 yogis. We have a Krishna as well that we launched a couple of months ago. We're not even a year old, by the way. And just to give you a taste of what the product experience is like. So the product comes in a box like this, and there's building instructions that the child or adult can look at and build. We have sold since then. We've selling in more than 15 countries. India is primarily a big market, but also US, South Africa, UK. I wanted to share. I mean, this happened just recently with Ganesh Chaturthi, so I just wanted to share with you some of the some of what our customers have shared. This is from Khushbu and her son Neil in US. How they celebrated Ganesh Chaturthi this year with our IndicBricks Ganesha. So this was their primary Ganesha. They didn't have another murti and then this as well. They had this, and you can see there is roli chawal, they've used as the primary thing, and the decor, a large part of it was done by the son. As you can see, he's combined it with some other Lego pieces as well. This is another one that came in from Pune, and they have taken it. This is also some people who are really into Lego, and they've taken it up another level. The elephant is not a part of what we sell. This is from their collection. They designed this. So, people have taken the product and made it their own. And this is a very cute one that also came recently. This is from Thailand. This is from a customer in Thailand. Yay! So we also chose Ganesha because the appeal of Ganesha is not just in India. I mean, he is of course, not just by Indians all over the world, but also in other countries, especially Southeast Asian countries like Thailand, even in fact Indonesia, Japan, etc. Ganesha is really worshipped. So we've sold a few sets to in these countries as well. And I mean, children have bought the product, and I mean, this is just an example of how they've kind of, the idea behind the product is that they learn about the asanas, they try the asanas. We have kind of the Indian names of the asanas, of the yoga poses and asanas. So with every box, we put in a quiz, an educational quiz, and a flyer that talks about the asanas and the benefits of it. So it's something that gets children to. It's kind of playful, so children will the idea is that they will do it. They'll try the asanas, and kids especially like a challenge, to do the more of the harder asanas like Nataraj asana, and how long can you balance yourself. So that's the kind of feedback we've got from people. Yeah, so great feedback. Like I said, we are selling in 15 countries, and we sell through our website. We primarily started selling on our website, but we also sell on Amazon and a bunch of other online channels. We recently just started to sell in stores, starting from Bangalore. We've had a bit of a press coverage, and that's pretty much it. I wanted this to be an interactive session, so I will come to this later on, and I will get back, and I guess we'll open for questions, Nimish.
Yes, absolutely. That was really, really short and sweet, but very interesting.
Yeah.
Your story, I think, packs a lot more than what it's all visible here. So I think it's for us to ask you more questions.
Yeah, the product is very high on show and tell, so I just wanted to leave you with it, and and here I know some of you might be Lego fans. I know at least a couple of them over here, so would love to hear what you think of this.
Raj, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. So my first thought was, how did you actually go? I mean, the fact of being able to design the breakdown a figure into blocks is not very straightforward. The second thing is to get. I believe the whole thing is in plastic, right?
It is exactly like Lego bricks.
Just like Lego bricks, yeah. So how do you manage actually to get them molded the right way with the right consistency?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. But like I said, because I worked with Lego for the last 7 years, not with the company, but with the product, in many different ways, I kind of understood the ecosystem well. And even having done that, designing Indian shapes with bricks that are rectangular and squarish in shape, and all our shapes are very organic in nature. So translating them was definitely a challenge. We've gone through a lot of iterations. This is not the first version of Ganesha that we came up with, but we put a lot of work into it, and we've kind of now. It's still a challenge. We are working on Shiva, which we've not been able to crack. We've got a Hanuman that we have a design that we're not happy with. So it takes. It's an iterative process, but we really wanted. To kind of keep chipping at it till it comes to the point. I mean, when I saw this Ganesha version, it was like this, and it was the aha moment. It was like, yes, this is a product that works. So we have, like I said, designs of several other products that we've done, but we only release it when we are kind of, when we get that aha moment.
Yeah, I mean, the product should work, and for that you need to be happy with it before you launch it. Second point was, what about interchangeability? Means, can I buy 2 kits and make something like a typical Lego?
Yeah, so that is possible. We did not want to do it. We purposely did not want to do it with some of our sets. We will do it with some other sets in the future, but some of these are what we call the pro sets, and we want them to be ideally used as is. I mean, of course, you're free to mix it up with your other, they are completely 100% compatible, by the way, with other building blocks. So you can mix them up and make other things. That's something not for these sets. And I said something for the future. But right now we are
Okay.
sets that you will just really feel proud about, and you want to have it, and you don't want to dismantle it and make something else of it.
Cool. Thanks. Thank you. I'll put up my hand if something else strikes.
Another challenge that was there in the in making this was, the number of parts, right? In order to get that organic shape, we ended up using a lot of small parts, and the inventory kind of started becoming very big, and we had to keep that budget in mind, that we cannot be like, for instance, if we made the temple, we could, doing justice to any of our Indian monuments, is so difficult because of the intricate carving, etc. So that we kind of loosely based it off Ram Temple, but we didn't even we don't even feel confident to even call it Ram Temple. And we have other things. We have Chand Baudi, we have Hawa Mahal, because it's just hard to do it justice. I mean, forget about building to scale. You cannot build to scale in the kind of pieces that will still be pocket friendly and then people can buy it. We even made a 10,000 pieces Kandariya Mahadeva temple, but it's really hard to do justice to to our architecture and to our design form. So that is a challenge, and so that's also a hat that I always have to wear, which is about what price point is it going to come at? Can we kind of remove more bricks and make it more affordable for customers?
Yeah, that is affordability is always a point that has to be kept in mind when you're getting into a business.
Yeah, and especially considering the price point at which Lego is, especially at price point at which Lego in India is, we were mindful and we want to make a product that is for the masses. And I hope, with the early adopters, and that we are able to come to the scale that, we are able to bring down the price significantly for, and this is, this can be afforded by larger sections of the society. We are also coming up with smaller sets, which are at lower price points. So in the coming months, you will see, quite a few of those as well from us.
Cool. That sounds a lot of work. Yeah.
Team, if you have questions, then okay. Professor Atwankar, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Typically a temple or Ganesha will have how many types of small units, and each of them would be injection molded, right?
Yeah.
So what would be the typical cost of tooling that is involved in one such product?
So right now we are not tooling, we're using the regular kind of the sets that come. So we are not, we're getting a lot of the raw material from outside, but we want to develop our own molds as well as we go ahead. Because it's very hard to work with the kind of geometric shapes, and we want to make a lot more organic shapes that can be built easier and can be built easily by younger children also.
So the cost is low because you're buying it off the shelf, is it?
We are not buying the design, but some of the raw material we are buying. Yeah, we're not manufacturing it.
No, raw material, each component is a raw material, is it?
Yeah, these are what are available as.
Okay, available.
We have not designed the mold for this.
Okay.
Yeah. Shaunak has a question.
Yes, Shaunak, go ahead.
So how playable are these? Are they just posable? Means how much is the posable axis of rotations and everything that they are got your toy figures, right?
Yeah. Shaunak, that's a great question. That's something that we are working on. So again, with the trying to get something that is like wow, I think we did compromise on playability. So these are like the pro sets, which are more keepers that you will build and keep. But we are working on playable. The yoga set, I would say, is probably the more playable set of the sets that we have so far. And children can mold and make their own yoga poses as well with it. But we are working on other sets that will have a lot more articulation, and the Ganesha has some articulation, Krishna also has some articulation, but it's not very playable. But we are working on some sets that will have a lot more playability as well. And the other point that Raj mentioned also, like, what else can you do for it? Because that's also a concern for Indian, parents or Indian consumers, even for themselves. If I'm buying this, what else can I build with it?
Because we were also trying means there are some set pieces, yes, but then the whole dyeing mold making process and the whole model process is in itself quite a task. So half the budget of our product would have been eaten just in the basic machining itself. So even we gave up on the same thing.
Okay, what do you do, Shaunak?
I am currently a founding member at the Sutradhar application. You can look us up on Sutradhar on App Store. We are telling mythological content properly researched and properly told via mobile screens.
Wow, fantastic. Would definitely love to connect.
Yes, please download, take a look. If you have any other feedback also, would like to share.
Sure, definitely.
So Meghna, this whole design process, what was the design process like for you?
So I guess it started with what are we going to build? What are we going to build? For who are we going to build? I think a lot of it was impacted by the kind of children that we interacted with, who build with with blocks, and they were also our testing ground. We tested product with that. We later on realized that they were more of the pros, so they had their skill with Lego is higher than an average customer's skill. So that's been kind of a journey. So first of all, what are we going to build? What are the genres? So we came up with several genres. I mean, Ganesha was a starting point, because he's like, you typically start with Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, etc. So that was the idea behind Ganesha. And then there are a bunch of things that we want to do. So we've identified kind of built heritage, intangible heritage. So yoga would fall under that. We have some other genres as well. So that is from the product perspective, but then also from like price perspective. So we have a fridge magnet coming up, so from a price point perspective. So there are different lenses through which we look at things, and then we decide. So we have a bunch of things that we've designed, but we kind of figure out, what, and we're also testing the market. I mean, we're still, like I said, a year old. So we made a DT, and then the next product was not another DT, because we were like, okay, so DT, we know there is acceptance, people like it, people want it. What about if we do a temple or a built heritage, is that something people would be interested in? Then we went on to yoga, which is something that is, even non-Indians, yoga is something that is, people throughout the world, kind of like an acceptance, since building blocks is something that millions of people, use and build with. We wanted to see if that is something that would find acceptance with users that are not Indian or not of Indian origin, and we got validated for that. So the initial first few products are kind of validation. Like even the fridge magnet is I mean, we think it's also going to be a validation for price point. Okay, if we have a price point in 500 to 600 range, for instance, our other products are a different price point. What is the acceptance from the customer going to be? So initially, right now, we have got some answers, but there are a few other answers we're looking at. So, the first year or so is about that and building out a portfolio.
Mm-hmm. And how capital intensive is the product development phase for you?
So the inventory is expensive, of course, and that is the reason also, we are not able to, we are still priced at less than half, a third of Lego, but we're still not able to price it at the level we would like to. But we've got recently good traction, so things are moving. We are bootstrapped, largely me, but I'm also hoping to get kind of some funding.
So are you above the line right now?
It's kind of hard to tell because, we keep investing in new inventory, new design, research, development. Like I said, we have a lot of designs that we have, but we haven't launched it because of one or the other reason. So, yeah, we are not still above this thing, because there are a lot of costs associated with these things. So, whatever money we've got out of selling sets has all gone back into developing further products and doing research and trying to improve things like, like playability, for instance. And also we are working on other things. So we're looking at wooden blocks as well. So we have a few things that is under development. I hope it will be in the market soon as well.
So for example, when you work with wood, so would these again be pieces that you will buy off the shelf, or you'll manufacture these?
So these we will be able to manufacture. We will have our own designs, and we are looking at mechanisms that are simple. We don't have anything for younger children. And one of the feedback that we got from the market was a lot of parents were interested for younger children. So we are trying to make something more simpler. With wood, we cannot get into this very tiny, intricate parts like these. But we want it to be simple and chunky that, that 3-year-olds can pick up and stack and still build, and still it gives them that kind of, it improves their gross fine motor skill ability, spatial skills. It gives that experience without that complication.
And your theme even there remains the Indian context, right?
It will, yeah. So we are all about Indian theme, and that, there's so much to do in this genre that I don't even think, we're not even thinking of doing anything outside it.
Mm-hmm.
We have, although I would say, looking at what we are doing, we have received some inquiries, something that we are working on, where people have, where some corporates have wanted us to design custom sets for them. And one of them is not Indian origin. This is a customer who wants us to do something for a giveaway for a large number of employees, and that is not Indian theme. That's something, that's a B2B thing that we are also looking at.
Mm-hmm. And how do you reach out to your audience?
Good question. So we started during the pandemic. I think it was the second or third wave. So there was hardly an option to, people were not going out really. So we decided to be like a D2C brand and sell online largely. So through our website and Amazon, and then, in terms of getting people to know about us was largely social media, Google ads, the regular stuff. So that was it. And once the kind of, now the pandemic is sort of over, or people have got, things have got normalized, we are now looking at getting into stores as well. So we started with Banglore. We've also started doing some pop-up and exhibitions, and we will be doing more of those. And we plan to expand in other cities as well, in other stores. So we are selling in India, and we're selling abroad as well, through some resellers or directly.
So if I may ask, what is your sales and marketing cost? How much do you spend on that in absolute terms per month?
Oh, I don't think you can. I don't think even I have the figure on top of my head. But yeah, a good part of it is like when we put a picture or the video or these, the product does sell itself, I have to say. I feel proud of the fact that we haven't put nearly as much of, not even nearly as much of money as we should have put. And like I said, we bootstrap, so every penny is used judiciously, and we look at all the numbers and are we getting any, and we change our campaigns pretty rapidly if we don't see traction coming from it. So we do a lot of grunt work there in times and you understand this more better than anybody else, in trying to kind of make sure that we get good bang for the buck. And we're trying to, of course, also work on organic means, so that it's not always just paying for ads, because as soon as you stop paying for ads, how it is, social media or Google for that matter, the moment, or even Amazon for that matter, you stop paying for ads and your orders will stop coming in. So you need to kind of build organically traction as well. So we're working on that too.
Mm-hmm. So is the organic working for you? Is word of mouth or people repeat orders?
Yeah, there are some customers who have bought every single product that we built, and they're always like, okay, what's next? What's coming up next? So yes, definitely word of mouth is a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's very interesting. And how does Instagram work for you?
Instagram works well, like in terms of it's hard to target people. I mean, it took us some time to be able to target our audience, because these products would be loved by a large section of the society, Indian society, as you can imagine. But to reach the people who can actually afford the product, that was a challenge. And how can we target and reach those people? So that took some learning for us, and I think for the algorithm as well. So, but I think now we kind of figure out some proxies and some ways of doing that. I don't think we have the best thing, but yeah, I think I mean, definitely it's doing a decent job for us till now.
So a lot of people are very unhappy with Amazon as such, right? Because you have to promote your products there, and takes a good chunk of your money. So how has that worked for you? Amazon, does it work for you, or you think store sales will work for you?
Yes, Amazon has worked. I think what Amazon does, which would have been difficult for us, is that through Amazon, our product has reached corners of India, cities, towns of India that I didn't even know existed. I didn't know the names of where are those. Every time an order would come, and I would look up where in India that town is. So I think that reach. I mean, even if we do get into stores, etc., right? I mean, there's a limitation to what you can service, of course, right now. But even if you're funded, I mean, how many stores you can set up in how many cities? And I think the e-com platform gives us that, the reach to people. And surprisingly, there are people outside, first and two-tier towns who are interested in this product and who bought this product. So I think it does work. Yes, of course, it costs money. They do take a chunk of the money, but and I think there's a kind of critical mass once you can get that. I don't think we are there yet. Where you get the number of reviews or number of sales, etc. I think then you do get traction. But yeah, you have to keep feeding it money as well in terms of advertising. At least I think in the beginning it takes up a lot of. You have to invest in it quite a bit.
Sure. So I had heard earlier you said the design process for the Ganesha.
Yeah.
You had to work with a designer abroad, and you were not able to do it with someone in the designers in India. Could you tell us a little more about that? Because we have a good design community here. Maybe somebody could do a collaboration with you.
Yeah. So it's not about designing a Ganesha, right? It's about designing a Ganesha using building blocks. So although building blocks are popular, but most people buy sets and build them. There are not as many people who creatively built with it, and not as many people who had that level of skill set to build such a complex design with it. There are some people, of course, there are a few people, and we're in touch with them and we collaborate with them, etc. But we were not able to find. I mean, we've thrown challenges a lot of people, and there are different people who have different kind of areas of expertise. There are a couple of people. There's a Punjabi guy, Sardar, in India, who we work with. He's the one who's designed the temple. He's very good at building architectural sets, but figures is something that is not his strength, So yeah, we've really had to kind of hunt and find, who can build this kind of stuff better. So that we've had to do some work on that. And like I said, I mean, this Lego and building blocks has been something that, has been for years in other countries, and more people have had access to it. It's very expensive in India. So it's so a lot of people have not had access to it, but I'm sure as we go down the line, as more people have access to it, I am pretty sure, we'll have some really excellent designers coming out of India, and we would love to work with them.
I think all the excellent designers are here. We just need to throw a challenge at them.
Yeah, if you can build with bricks, please do reach out to us. We'd love to work with you.
Sure, I'll definitely pass on I think they have your details, but nonetheless, I will. If you have a specific challenge in mind, do send it over. And
Shiva is my next, is something that we are that we really want to do like an excellent job of. And so if there is somebody who can design a Shiva, we would love to collaborate, work with you.
Okay, great. Any questions you have from the team? Yes, Ravi, go ahead.
Yeah, I was wanting to know that are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, Ravi, I'm able to hear you.
The Lego block concept of building stuff, I mean, in an Indian context, is it that you have one set of pieces put together to create one artifact like this, what you showed? Or is it possible with the same set of blocks that I can do multiple things? And where I do from probably something very simpler to complicated to something that people do without even being given any specific goal to do. So is that such a translation possible in this? And is the concept you are also working on, or is it one fit for one artifact?
Yeah, so I mean, even today, any customer can build whatever, the open-ended part of it, it's available to you today as well. You can build what we sell with a set of instructions. You can build that, or you can build whatever. Like I said, it's also compatible with other Lego blocks. So you can add it to your set and build other things. So that that is up to the customer totally, what you would like to do with it. I mean, if we start telling people that, okay, you can do this also, then it already takes away the open-endedness of it, right? But so yeah, you can, like I said, build with it whatever you want to build. We will be coming up with other sets where you can make other things, but again, that will be kind of more guided by us, that you can also build this 4 other things with it.
Okay. Now the question is that, for example, the same set of pieces can be used to build a piece of architecture. So the same can be used to create a Ganesha figure. Is that level of atomic breakdown it has?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can make some level of Ganesha figure even with this. I think it really would depend on the creativity and of the person who's building with it.
Okay.
It is definitely possible. It's definitely possible. I mean, yeah, it might be a Ganesha in tan color, but it is definitely possible.
Another question I have, in general, all those, like last week we had Kanaka, who, I mean, I'm sure she's also in the session. To all those people who are into toy making and toy designing, how do you perceive the interest for people to invest in toys? I mean, in this today's world of so much of other things happening, what is the kind of reason why people are, what drives them to invest in toys? Is there an insight that you can share?
We haven't really gone out that much and done, I haven't done that much of good work in terms of raising funds. I did speak to a few, I mean, coming from INSEAD, the MBA community, I did reach out to a few people, and a lot of them seem to be doing the traditional tech sort of investment, and they were like, oh, do you have a tech piece in your product, which we don't have, So a lot of them are kind of interested in those kind of models. But I mean, I don't think there would be a dearth of, funding. I think if you have a solid business case and you can show them, the business potential, I think there's money out there, and especially now people are more cautious and much more judicious about where they put their money in this climate. So I don't think, I mean, people would be against it if you can present a good case. I know a few people, I'm talking this week as well, and I'm talking to a few other people who have shown interest, who find this very unique and interesting. So I don't think people are against it. Traditionally, they tend to, of course, invest in more tech and clean tech and those kind of things. So,
okay, thank you.
So, Meghna, what are the kind of sensibilities that you have come across, in the sense that cultural sensitivities that you've touched with the toy. You showed that somebody had put it and they were actually doing puja.
Yeah.
But beyond that, do people also respond like, oh, if I have made a Ganesha, I can't have it on the floor, for example? Do you come across these stories? How do people react?
So I think there are, people feel there's an entire spectrum of how people feel about this. And, it's not that I've not heard of somebody saying it, but there are still other people to whom, just having this means a lot. So I think there is a whole spectrum of people, and, this is for people who are okay with the idea of building your own model. See, we do Visarjan of Ganesha anyway, right? And in fact, if you look at our Ganesha, it is a kind of a sustainable, eco-friendly Ganesha because, and this is an idea, by the way, our customer gave us. So they said, we're going to build it on the first day of Ganesh Chaturthi, and on the 10th day, we are going to dismantle it and do Visarjan in a bucket of water. And then we will build it again either for Diwali or for next Ganesh Chaturthi, right? So what it means to it has been different for different people, how they look at it. There might be certain sections who don't like this idea that, okay, a child might play with it, etc. But we really haven't had that much of opposition, and I guess maybe it's just a self-selection that those people would not come up and buy the product. But like I said, it means a lot to a lot of people. We've seen, like the Krishna set, actually, we were not even in a hurry to build the Krishna, but really we got pushed into it by one of our customers. And then she told us this whole story about her sister who had cancer, and, Krishna means so much. And she really pushed the production for Krishna because it meant so much to her, and she wanted to gift it to her sister, and she's in UK for her birthday. That we understood that this is not just any product. It's just not a home decor product, or it's just not a toy, but it has a lot of meaning. It's not just any other toy. It's just not any other idol. It means a lot to people, and I think that's what
that Visarjan story is really very interesting, and it gives a whole new dimension to the way we look at something like this.
Yeah.
Because I remember we got a Lego spaceship, so we assembled the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then after that, it was lying there for so long. But now with this, you do a Visarjan, you dismantle it, and you bring it up again. I think that's a very, very awesome, interesting way of looking at it.
And really, our customers have given us such great ideas, and they've really run with the product. And they're the kind of questions they come back to us has given us business ideas. In fact, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? So yeah, and we at least right now we are we listen to customers, we ask them for feedback, and they really come up with some great ideas and suggestions.
Yeah, so I think this whole thing of having customers as part of the product development, that itself is a great story on its own.
Yeah.
Okay, so Professor Arpankar, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah.
You were catering to a large age group, right? From very young to almost teenagers.
Adults and older people, in fact.
Older people, okay. Now, do you see any gender differences as the age group changes in terms of kind of things that they buy or a kind of thing they want to make?
So there is a general gender trend with Lego, which is skewed towards men. But for our product, especially for adults, we've seen it skewed the other way, where more maybe women, and maybe it's because of the product, like Krishna is something that is very lovable by by women, etc. There is some part of it that it's just about, and this is not something just from IndicBricks. This is also from my 7 years of working with building blocks. For some reason, boys are more into it. And for some reason, boys are better at it on average than girls. And I cannot explain this. It's just been an observation. We all start, like I said, we start with 2-year-olds and they're all building it. And it just, at some point, boys take over, girls lose interest, or girls are doing other things. It could be a reflection of what other things are happening in society with girls versus boys. but this is what we've seen. But like I said, with a product, you know, I mean, a lot of women have bought it for themselves, or men have bought it. So in the adult group, we have not seen too much of gender differences. I think in the younger group, it has been so. And that's because of, like, you know, of the end product. It's just not a building block product, but it is these idols or these, you know, architectural building, etc.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries.
So how many customers have you touched till now, Meghna? Would you know?
I mean, I know, but I'm not too sure I can share at this point.
Okay, sure. I hope it's thousands. Sindhu, go ahead.
Hi, Meghna.
Hi, Phil.
So great to hear you speak. I think I'll connect with you later too. But I should say a lovely product. I mean, like, this is something that we were looking forward to in India with Indic content, especially because my son, who loves Lego and puzzles, is so much into it. Now he's behind me to get all the characters.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and very good quality. I mean, you really achieved that part, because he never liked anything else apart from Lego because of the way it fit with each other.
Right.
But I think you've done that. I mean, amazing, great work.
Thank you so much, Sindhu. Really means a lot coming from you.
Oh, please. Yeah. Thank you, Meghna.
Any other questions, comments? I had one thing that I wanted to share with the audience over here. So first of all, thanks a lot for being here, you know, this evening. And if you liked, you know, what you saw today, I'm asking for your help. Please buy our products or gift our products to people. You know, help us spread the word. We are on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Our handle is @IndicBricks. If you're interested in collaborating, partnering, we are very open. We are trying to get into more stores and more physical spaces. We're also looking at, you know, collaborate. We spoke to a couple of professors actually from architecture colleges came up to us and they said, hey, can you build this kind of sets, you know, because our students have to build this model year after year, you know, for 4 years, and they spend so much of money in this, and this could be a set that they would have for several years, and it helps them kind of, you know, ideate and design. So we are open to those kind of collaboration. If you know cultural or tourism organizations that would be interested, please let us know. We are looking to raise funds, of course, so that we can take things, you know, up the next level and we can start scaling. We're also looking to hire good talent. So Nimish already mentioned about designers. We're also looking at intern sales and marketing people. So if you illustrators, you know, so if you know of anybody, please do, you know, refer them to IndicBricks.
So Meghna, that just piques my interest. How much funds are you trying to raise?
So about $1 million is what we are looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if we don't have any questions, we'll close this and we will open it up for further interactions offline, or rather online, I would say.
Thank you so much for joining. It was a pleasure, Nimish.
And formally, Meghna, thank you again for that very interactive talk. Hope this is a starting point for you for, you know, many more collaborations with the team here. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And we look forward to having you again here for our 54th talk next week. Good night, and I'll stop recording now.
Thanks. Good night.
Thank you.